When this strange pregnant cat gives birth, the vet goes in to check on them but screams when he realizes that they are not kittens. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Alice was starting to get apprehensive. She and the other staff at the zoo were running around, checking different corners where Muska might be, but the cat had disappeared. Muska was always around the staff, but once in a while, the cat would behave in a strange way and seek some solitude. However, she would always return after a short time, and this was the longest that she had disappeared. The staff had found out a few weeks ago that Muska was pregnant and were worried that something had happened to her. The zoo wasn't just home to raccoons, geese, and chickens. There were also wild animals like bears, lions, tigers, and monkeys, and animals can behave in unpredictable ways. Any of these animals could put Muska's life in danger. Rain started to fall, heavier than usual, and Alice could hear the thunder. Alice knew that if they couldn't find Muska, then she wasn't in any of the facilities and was probably in the woods surrounding the zoo. But there was nothing they could do but wait for the rain to subside before they continued their search. Still, Alice was worried because the cat was in such a vulnerable position. Being out in such bad weather when Muska was so close to giving birth might have health implications. By the time the rain stopped, it was already dark. But Alice and the staff went in search of Muska with their torches. They started searching the shrubs nearby and looked through every nook and cranny. They were all waiting to hear a sound from the cat that would indicate her location and make it easy for them to take her home. But just as Alice was starting to worry again, she heard a soft noise coming from the bush, and she was certain that it was Muska. Excited, she waited for it to come again, then started tracing the sound until she finally found the cat. When she pointed the torch in the cat's direction, she immediately saw its bright eyes staring back at her. However, Muska couldn't keep her eyes open for long. Alice realized that the cat seemed tired and weak. Also, she noticed that the cat was not alone. Snuggled on her chest were 4 small kittens that Muska had just given birth to. Alice looked at them, happy that the moment had finally come. And it made sense why Muska had gone the extra length to be alone. Still, there was one more surprise. Along with the kittens, Alice noticed something else lying on Muska's chest. Their color and body were different from that of the other kittens. Alice moved closer, bringing her torch to see what it actually was. "These are not kittens," Alice screamed, drawing the attention of the other staff, who were also surprised to see what had happened. Muska had been a blessing to the zoo since she first came into their lives, and seeing the cat with kittens of her own, along with an unexpected addition, made Alice realize how much things had changed. Alice worked as a vet and attended to different animals in zoos and shelters. She found a sense of joy in helping animals and being instrumental in them living a healthy life. Since she was affiliated with several animal shelters, Alice would often bring animals she found on the streets into the shelter and make it her duty to ensure that they had the best care. On a cold winter morning, Alice was on her way to a zoo that she frequently worked with. She had gotten a call that one of the monkeys had gone into an early delivery and needed assistance. Alice was trying to make her way to the zoo as fast as she could when she noticed something black moving in the snow, and it was hard to miss the sight. She got curious and moved closer to see what it was, and her heart fell when she realized that it was a cat struggling in the cold weather. It was almost frozen, and icicles stuck on her nose. The tiny black cat was barely moving and didn't respond when Alice touched it. She quickly wrapped it in a small blanket she carried with her and took it to the zoo. She handed the small cat over to one of the caretakers, asking that they find a way to warm up the cat while she worked on ensuring the monkey's safe delivery. Thankfully, the birth was successful, and Alice quickly left to attend to the cat. The caretakers had warmed up the cat's body with warm blankets and hair dryers, and its temperature was slowly rising again. Alice and the other vets that were present did everything they could to keep the cat alive, but it was a bigger challenge than any of them had expected. Not only was the cat out in the cold weather, but it had also been malnourished and required gentle care to return to full health. To everyone's surprise, the cat survived and continued to grow. Each day as her strength returned, the cat began to explore her new environment and developed a close bond with Alice, who continued to look after her with great care. When the time came to name the cat, the staff at the zoo agreed to call her Muska, and she continued to live with them. All cats want to explore and can be very curious about their surroundings, so Muska would often disappear for a while, but always found her way back to Alice or any of the other staff. One day, she had wandered into the crocodile enclosure, and if someone hadn't been close by to see her, the cat might have gotten injured. One day, Alice noticed that Muska was behaving differently, and after an examination, she found out that the cat was pregnant. Alice shared the news with the rest of the staff, and the thought of new arrivals brought a sense of warmth and joy to the zoo. As the weeks passed, Muska got bigger, and the staff showered her with attention and affection, eagerly waiting for the birth. But the creatures on Muska's chest were not kittens. Instead, they were baby hedgehogs. Alice and the caretakers with her had no idea what to do next. None of them had ever encountered hedgehogs close to the zoo and wondered how Muska had ended up with them. However, at that very moment, what was more important was getting these animals to warmth and safety. One of the caretakers went to get a box and blanket for Muska and her little ones. Alice carefully placed them into the box and carried them over to the vet room, where they were thoroughly examined. Everyone had questions, and they were waiting for Alice to come back with the answers. Alice separated the kittens from the hedgehogs and laughed as she looked at Muska's strange family. The vet stepped out of the room to take a call, but when she came back, she found that Muska had joined the hedgehogs and kittens together. All of them were snuggled against Muska, and she purred affectionately. That was when Alice understood that Muska being with the hedgehogs wasn't an accident. She probably found them abandoned when the rain had started and looked after them. For the hedgehogs to be alone, that meant something terrible had happened to their mother, and they must have had a hard time surviving without anyone looking after them. The cat decided to be a mother to the hedgehogs and wasn't going to allow anyone to take them from her. Alice didn't know if Muska had rescued them before or after she gave birth to her kittens. However, they were now a family either way. Alice still tried to take the hedgehogs away and feed them. However, they didn't respond to anything she did, and Alice was forced to take them back to Muska. Alice and the staff were worried that the hedgehogs would prick the kittens in Muska continuously. However, they soon discovered that their fears were unfounded. Muska never showed any signs of discomfort when the hedgehogs were near and didn't get pricked by them. The kittens also seemed to enjoy being around their unusual siblings, and they would often play together. Alice and the caretakers set up a new enclosure for the family just outside the staff room and were always on hand to help out. The hedgehogs are now grown and haven't stopped considering Muska as their mother. When the story was posted on social media, it went viral as people couldn't help but connect with the cute pictures of the unusual family. Animal lovers around the world were praising Muska for stepping up when these animals were at their most vulnerable. What an incredible story! Do you think Muska should have helped the hedgehogs? Share your thoughts in the comments, and see you in the next video.